This is an ABP Live Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Aabir Lahiry. You are listening as well as watching two cracking conversations on ABP Live Podcast. Every week we try to dig deep into somebody's brain who are subject matter expert in a lot of other things. So, joining me today in cracking conversation is Monique Jhingon. She's a functional and a personalized nutritionist. And thank you for being a part of ABP Live Podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I really like my first question to you will be how exactly and how important is nutrition to every Homo sapien?
It's, I think, the foundation of everything, if you ask me. So basically, what my belief, and I think I speak from my own experience and also the experience of having worked with many people. You cannot live your best life if you're not looking after yourself, right? You need a strong foundation.
True.
You need energy, you need focus, you need balance, you need stable moods, you need to feel fit and strong. And the building blocks for all those things are basically what you put into your body. So it is a crucial component of not only feeling the healthiest that you can be, but also living your most optimal life.
I'm a very big muncher. I do midnight munching, midnight snacking.
Yeah.
Is it a healthy habit? Because my parents and my relatives and my friends always keep on bugging me like this is not certainly good for you.
Yeah.
But do you also, being a nutritionist, agree to that thing?
Let me bounce this back to you. What do you think?
I feel as long as my belly is happy, everything
Right.
is sorted. But I certainly need to get an expert advice, and I guess you will be the correct person
Okay,
to
so let me just confirm what everybody else has been telling you. It is really not a very smart thing to do. We basically, for a variety of reasons, right? So one reason, for example, is that we need to have space in between meals. We need some time for our body to process the food that we've been eating. We need some time for our body to tap into its fat reserves. If you're continuously feeding yourself, you're continuously supplying your body with food and calories, it's never going to be able to tap into what builds up naturally in terms of fat reserves, right? So you need space between meals, ideally. That's number one. Number two is it's been proven and shown that if you eat very late at night, it's going to interfere with your sleep. And that's another pillar of health. So nutrition is a pillar of health, sleep is a pillar of health, exercise is a pillar. I mean, there's many things, of course, that determine how good we feel. But sleep is, I would put it really on the top as well. So if you're eating really late at night, it's going to disturb your natural sleep rhythm, and you don't want that. So having said that, food and nutrition is really personal, right? And it may very well be that you're feeding yourself late at night because you have blood sugar dysregulation, or you have things going on that are making you want to eat, and because otherwise you don't feel good. So you're going to have to restore that first before you can actually say, like, I'm going to stop all this, right? So yeah. And then I think, the other thing to keep in mind is that it's important to figure out what it is that you're munching on, right? So the quality of the food that you eat and the quality of the snacks that you're taking. So there's a whole lot of things to consider, but overall, in a nutshell, I would say ditch the habit.
It is typically one of those days when I am partying late or a lot of friends are over, and then typically after 11 p.m. we start hogging onto food, which I also feel will actually it does not give you a very good happy vibe, specifically the next day. So I'm trying to curb those calories, extra calories. Let's see, it's a long journey, I feel. How important is water? You've been sipping water, and I have been doing the same. But how important is water?
Oh, very crucial again. Yeah, it is. Essential that we drink a lot of water. And coming back to those cravings that we may have, very often we feel we're hungry, but it's actually a lack of water. We need to hydrate ourselves.
Yes.
So that's an important thing, and a lot of people don't drink enough water.
What exactly water does to your body? Like from a more scientific point of view, if I were to know, if a person who is maybe not very healthy, maybe diabetic or maybe obese, not exactly obese but overweight to an extent, does only drinking water and getting enough sleep? Because I've heard it from a lot of people, maybe friends, maybe on YouTube, maybe on WhatsApp. A lot of people just say, just drink enough water, like a lot of water, and just have good sleep, and you will be healthy. Is it actually true, or we need to have a lot of bang on the nutrition as well?
Yeah, we do. We can't just. It's, people like to find that simple solution. They like to find that one thing that they think is going to solve everything. And unfortunately, there isn't anything like that. You need to look at everything in conjunction. And so food is an important picture, but so is, having enough water. And like I said, the sleep and the exercise and stress management and all these factors play a role, right? Well, why water is important is because we need to help, hydrate our cells and our bodies. They need, all that to function properly. We need to help with the detoxification, and water helps do that as well. It helps, with our digestion. It helps to excrete toxins and things like that. So it is just really an essential component.
Okay. Now coming to your journey, you've been you customize nutrition for every individual.
Yeah.
Why customization of nutrition is important, and why not a generic thing which can be given to everybody?
Yeah. So we are all really unique. I mean, you can, I think everybody already senses that, right? So what makes you is a combination of a whole lot of different things. So it's a combination of your health history, your life history, your lifestyle, your genetics, your environment, the environment that you operate in and that you have operated in. So all of that together makes that unique package, which is your body and mind. So in order to really find out what works best for you as a person, you need to take all these factors into consideration. And that is what personalized nutrition is. It's really helping you find your unique approach that works according to all these factors that we need to take into consideration. Yeah. And it's moving a little bit away from what conventionally has been the case. Right?
Okay.
So we all again try and like to jump on the bandwagon of something that's new and catchy and interesting. So keto diets or paleo diets or the vegan diet.
Yes.
So, but that is again not personalizing things. You can try and experiment with all these different approaches. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to really look at yourself and see what it is that makes me feel good. So I talk about that in my book, and I have over the years devised like a 5-6 step approach to figuring that out.
Okay.
And it takes into account the things that make you, but also your unique motivating factor. For example, it's very hard these days to be healthy, right? If you look around, like in your office or people that you know, can you really think of somebody who's super healthy, who's got all that energy and focus and balance? It's hard, right? And it's becoming more and more complicated.
Right.
So what I wanted to do is kind of talk about that and address these questions, right? Why is it so difficult? What it is that we can do do about it, and what would the world look like if we all decided that we are taking charge of our health and we're going to do what is necessary in order to be our optimal selves. You'll have happy, healthy people who think.
Is that actually possible?
Of course it is.
It's a utopia.
No, absolutely not. You're right. In a way that it's hard. Because we're battling all these environmental influences, right? We're battling pollution, and we're battling, our current lifestyle and urban living.
And we are sloths.
Yes, but that is a question of motivation, which is why it's so important to really ask yourself, okay, this is what I am today. These are my dreams. These are my hopes and desires for my life.
True.
And what does it take for me to be able to achieve those dreams? And then, really what would my life look like if I did not feel sluggish in the morning, or if I did not have that 4 o'clock sort of dip in energy, or aches and pains, or skin issues, or a gut that sort of is always talking to you, right? So if you did not have all these things, what would your life look like? And once you sort of start digging into that question and you start figuring out that, I could do so much more and achieve so much more, that's when you start getting motivated to take the things that you, or to do the things that you need to do in order to be your healthiest self. So then you would choose not to be the sloth.
That's a difficult journey, I guess everybody is chasing. Since you were mentioning about different kind of diet plans and different kind of like keto diet, this diet, that diet, I remember somebody suggested me OMAD, 1 meal a day, and I actually followed it because I was like, I'm still fat, but I was not this. I was pretty much more than this, and I tried OMAD for around 2-3 months. It actually worked for me. But on the contrary, a lot of my friends, they said that it is not a very healthy thing to do. Like you are keeping your gut empty for a long period of time. The hydrochloric acid inside your stomach will actually burn the linings, like gut linings. Apart from that, the energy will be low. I didn't feel the loss of energy. I was actually supercharged. So I really want to know what is the expert opinion?
There you have your answer, right? It made you feel great.
It made me feel amazing, even if I didn't eat anything. I was just sipping water, at least 2 to 3 liters of water, and I was just eating during my evening hours. That's
what I'm trying to say to people, is that find what it is that makes you feel great, and that keeps on changing, right? But at this point, maybe you needed to start tapping into fat reserves and burn some calories that are likely to build up in your body. There's no scientific basis for your acids, your hydrochloric acid eating up your stomach lining or anything.
There's no?
Oh, no.
To all those people who just keep saying that this will harm you, please don't give me knowledge.
Don't listen to your friends, don't listen to your family, don't listen to anybody who tries to tell you what to do. Turn inwards and ask yourself what works.
But how do I know that if it's good for me or not? I should actually visit a nutritionist and get it checked, right?
Yes, it can be very, very helpful. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you have any health issues? Do you have any things that are bothering you? Do you feel the need to get that sort of support at this point?
Not exactly medically, no. I just feel that I need to lean down on my body weight, rest, everything. For me personally, I can say is pretty much okay. I don't have hypertension, I don't have diabetes, which are like the main key questions you ask. So I don't have these. I have a pretty active fitness life as well. I happen to be I used to swim regularly, I used to run regularly. I still run, but I am not that active how I used to be. That time I was lean as a giraffe. Now I'm fat as a buffalo, so I just need to.
That's not true.
Yes, you were saying something. If I don't have these, then what should I do?
If you don't have a nutritionist, you mean? Or you didn't?
No, if I don't have like diabetes or hypertension, and I feel that this diet gives me a good energy, but I don't know whether it will harm me in the long run.
Yeah. All right, difficult question, because not everybody has access to a nutritionist, right? And not everybody has access to a nutritionist who thinks very functionally, which again is looking at the whole body as a whole and really taking a very personal approach. It's not something that's caught on with the entire community of nutritionists and dietitians. So in the meantime, what do you do? It's a very good question. So again, I've tried to kind of explain it in my book. So it may be a good idea for you to leaf through it and see how does that work? Should you take on this adventure on your own, right? So in a nutshell, I think a few very important components are, one is that you want to ask yourself, why do I do this, right? Why do I want to take charge? Because as you yourself noticed in the past, when you go on a pretty extreme approach, it becomes very unsustainable in the long run. If you eat 1 meal a day, and what if I don't know if you felt that way, but for a lot of people.
I didn't actually. I enjoyed it. I was just having a black coffee in the morning.
Back to it.
I was just having a black coffee in the morning and nothing for the entire day. I was just have a minimal or a decent lunch, dinner. I should actually have a lunch, but the only point is good eateries and parties happen only during the dinner time, and that is the reason I chose dinner over lunch. Else, ideal approach should be that I should just hog on a lunch, like a good lunch, and then I shouldn't eat for the entire day.
And a good balanced lunch.
And a good balanced lunch.
Like I said, it's about how you eat, it's about when you eat, but it's also about what you eat, right? So you need to look at all these things, and I can't comment, of course, on what you were doing.
Agreed.
But yeah, so basically to come back to the approach, right? Really briefly, the few steps that are there, figure out why you want to do this so that you're motivated enough. Because it's not easy being healthy in this day and age, and you need something to keep you going. You need that little sort of vision and why and motivating factor out there, right? So that's number one. Then number two is, I believe that everybody needs to start their day in a way that sets you up for success. Okay, so you want to actually, do a little bit of mindfulness practice. You want to be exposed to sunlight. You want to incorporate a little bit of movement in a day. Anything that sort of gets you energized and focused and balanced for the rest of the day to come. So that's crucial for anybody, no matter what. Right? So that's two. Three is look at the foundation. Look at what it is that you're doing today, what you're eating, how you're living. Where is it muddled up? What are the things that are interfering? What are the things that are sort of not right, that you can sense are not right? And I talk a little bit about that foundation and what it looks like. So for example, are you eating processed foods? Are you eating lots of sugar? Are you eating late at night and snacking on junk food, for example? Are you having enough exercise? In your case, you are, right? But a lot of people may not be. What about your stress levels, right? Are you managing those? Are you...
How do you check that?
I think you will know, like if your life is very stressful and if it's sort of your thoughts are running around your head even at night, whatever, then you know that you probably need to do something about that.
Is there an SOS you would suggest to all those people who are always stressed? I remember I just walked into the interview, you was like, take a deep breath.
There you go.
Which is I guess a wonderful SOS, but yes, are there any other SOS which anybody feeling anxious or feeling stressed should do?
Breathing. Really breathing, and especially lengthening your exhale. So basically we have parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, right? The sympathetic nervous system is your fight, flight, stress response, right? So when you're like, trying to make a meeting, or you're stressed about something, you're in fight and flight or sympathetic mode. Parasympathetic is when you're lying on the sofa with your feet up and you're taking a deep breath, you're reading a book, you're really relaxed, right? So that's parasympathetic mode. So you can actually use breath to shift your body into a parasympathetic mode at any instant. Yeah. So basically what you want to do is you want to lengthen your exhale. So say you take a breath to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 8. All right, do that for a few rounds and you will immediately notice that your body calms down, your mind calms down, you're actually shifted into a parasympathetic state.
Wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I'll actually surely practice this 4 and 8.
Yeah, try to do that. It's very simple. It could be 3 or 6, 4, 8,
whatever,
5, 10, whatever.
Whatever your
whatever you can hold, exactly. So, but try to sort of lengthen the exhale, and in any moment in the day you can do that. So you can set yourself up in the morning and do that as well, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to that approach, so we have all these things, stress and everything. So look at those factors, see where am I not, at my optimal best in terms of following the right diet and the right approach. So that's what you do, and then you go into, after you've covered all your bases and you've set that foundation. Say you're eating a really wholesome diet which is made of real foods. You're not eating every minute of the day. You're spacing out your meals. You are looking after your exercise and your sleep and your stress reduction and so on and so forth. Then you can start to personalize things.
Okay.
Then you can start to identify what it is that I need, right? As this body and this mind, what works well for me. So that's when you go to things like, fasting, intermittent fasting, or that 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, or keeping a gap between your dinner and your breakfast the next morning. So that's how you start personalizing it and tracking how you feel. Right, so I believe a lot in intuitive eating and doing things in accordance with how it makes you feel, journaling about it, writing it down, so that whatever experiment that you're doing, you actually learn to, tap into your body's intelligence, essentially.
Okay.
And then after, if you want to further personalize your approach, that's when you can start thinking of like testing, running a blood chemistry analysis, doing functional testing, gut microbiome analysis. That's really interesting. That's my passion as well. There's all kinds of really cool functional tests out there that will help you understand a little bit more about your black box, which is that body, and what it is that you need. Nutrigenetic testing is another one which is really interesting. So understanding a little bit more about your genes and what makes you unique and what are your weak links and how do you best support yourself, right? And then the last step after that is to actually make it into a sustainable approach. and then using these fun things to further biohack your body. So you've come across the word biohacking. I think it's a big thing these days in the wellness industry. People are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But there's some simple things like cold therapy, ice baths, breathing practices, sauna, bathing.
Ice bath sounds exciting for a Delhi summer.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like exactly what we need.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So that's essentially the process for you to figure out what it is that you need. And then believe you me, you will one day wake up and say like, oh, I've never felt better. I feel energetic and I feel focused and balanced.
That is my target for every day. I by God's grace, every day I wake up, I feel good about being in this world.
Yeah.
I just feel that energy sometimes drains out after 7 p.m. and I need to actually reclaim that as well. Rest, I feel most of the things are pretty much in place. Okay, now few questions which I expect like a really quick answers from your end, which a lot of people in the audience may want to know about.
Okay.
Firstly, stress eating. What exactly is that, and is it a good thing or not?
Not really. Okay, that's my quick answer.
Okay.
Stress eating is very normal in a way, right? I mean, what do we do to gratify our senses? What do we do to make us feel good? I think from the time that we were small children, we would probably be fed when we were crying, or our parents would give us something to make us feel better. So I think we resort to food to make us feel better. So stress eating is linked to that. To understand that process and then sort of cut it when it's happening is the most important thing to do. Right? To sort of be aware of what you're doing and find something else to make you feel better at this point. Do that breathing exercise. Really tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. So there's other things that you can do in order to stop that process. Really brief. Like I said, it's not that simple, but just very brief.
Makes sense. The second is okay for a balanced diet.
I believe in moderation, I believe in balance, I believe that eventually you should be able to enjoy a drink. I mean, there's a difference between having a drink occasionally and going binge drinking, right? So if you can do it in moderation, if you can do it as part of a balanced lifestyle, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have to say though that I work with a lot of people who have very strong health issues that they're struggling with, and you may need to go through a period of abstaining from alcohol and other things in order to heal and repair and resolve your issues. But once you're able to move into a sustainable approach, then
you can start in moderation. Same goes for smoking?
No. I definitely don't think that smoking is in any way healthy. There's enough studies out there, you know it yourself, right? There's enough information that we have today that proves to us and shows us that it's doing a lot of damage to our bodies. So
okay. Is the keto diet good for health?
It depends, right? It can be very good for certain people. Certain health conditions have been known to completely resolve themselves. Epilepsy, for example, is one of them with the keto diet. Some people, it helps them to really, lose that weight. I feel it can be done therapeutically sometimes. I personally don't believe it's a diet that, you want to kind of adopt for a really prolonged period of time. But like I said, experiment with it, see how it makes you feel. It can be very helpful to shift your metabolism and to tap into your fat reserves and lose some weight, for example. But it's not for everybody.
So cool. Yeah. On that note, very, very, very thank you for being a part of this podcast. And I hope you make this world a better place. You make everybody really healthy and their nutrition are in control. Thank you for being a part of ABP Live Podcast. It was wonderful to have a chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Aabir. It was a pleasure.
On that note, I'll give a quick piece of advice. Just laugh out as much as you can. I guess that will calm your stress level slightly. That will put your stress level slightly low. And on that note, I'm Aabir Lahiry in Cracking Conversations on ABP Live Podcast. Thank you.